Freaky Table is brought to you by Nikki Hit Beauty Academy, opposite Vision Comfort, Sable Bonamoussadi Douala.
Hello everyone and welcome to Freaky Table. It's your girl Joan Gomba and I have a battalion of strong women in the house joining the only gentleman in the building. His name is Kwa Elonge, aka, okay, lots of AKAs. But let's just stick with it. The women are in the house, and this month, March, we are celebrating the strength, the power of women all around the world. And why not celebrate with these two great women? They are young, but they are resilient, they are powerful, they are, I don't know. Accomplished though. So far, one person, Tony Olumelu, know him. All right. Guys in the building, let me just do the introduction real quick. We have PR and founder of Image Nation. Her name is Santa Bacham.
Hey.
Hello. Una clap now. Come on. And joining right next to her, Tony Elumelu. Okay.
You don't get better. So she's talking with Bill Gates.
You understand? Good. IMF president. Jeff Bezos. And joining her, we have Eva Dumbe. She is a media personality and Sunny Africa rep. So we have her.
And Slit Queen.
And Slit Queen. Don't do her like that. Hello. Akwa Ilonga is here. John is here. The entire crew are behind the camera, so we're all here to discuss women, the power of women, but more, right? So you guys are welcome.
Thank you.
Oh, so good. You guys look amazing, by the way. No. I'm trying to catch up. When you have powerful women coming here, you have to be like, okay, you don't have to look poor. So you don't know, money, no. That's what they talk, no.
I'm in very good company.
Yeah, oh yeah. See the way you're smiling. You'll be smiling yesterday.
Yana is not here. He's also a female. From time to time.
Oh my God. I don't know where to start, but this month, March, was celebrating women, the strength of a woman. But the theme this year was all about bias, breaking the bias, no to discrimination for women across the world. Like, what do you think about that theme for this year?
I really liked it a lot because in the entertainment industry, we face bias a lot. As a woman, you have to, in fact, in every domain, let me not just say music, you have to work 6 times harder than a man to be recognized, to be seen, or to even be heard. Worst of all, to be respected. So that was for me, I was like, okay, you know what, we're going somewhere with this. Because also, celebrating Women's Day in Cameroon is different.
Souleve.
A lot of souleve. A lot of, this is my free day to do what I want to do.
Yeah.
So having that theme or being able to implement that theme this year for me, I was like, okay, it's not only about let's have this day off, be it a mom or whoever it is, let's have this day off. It's also about representing something bigger than just having the day off.
Yes.
Are we just, also it's like, we're not only looking at this is one day for the women. It's something that you can go through for a year. It could be a movement, it could be a thing. So tomorrow or next month, I could still decide to use #break the bias for anything I want to do and not just be like on that particular day. So for me, it was, I really liked it.
Wow, that's really, I love the way you saw it there. Because some of these women that I saw in the bar, I don't think they saw it that way.
They were breaking the bias.
They were breaking
it.
They were breaking the bottles.
The fascinating thing is, you would realize that some women, however crass that might look, might not have that opportunity in their entire life.
That's true.
Or might be judged, being this bitch. When this is something guys would do on a regular. So she takes that one, then she's claiming her power to be crass. Like the man.
Let me reclaim my time. Let me reclaim my 364.
We all work in offices. We deal with people on a daily, people with different characters, different. Like, how do your clients, when it comes to a PR job, because there you have to represent people, individuals or companies or events. How do you deal with people who look at you or discriminate because you are a female?
Or do you face that?
You even face that, and how do you deal with it?
It's very prevalent in our industry. And the funniest thing about the whole thing is that if you look at the communications and the PR space, it's dominated by women. And so you expect women to, be at the forefront of things, pushing for, us to get to certain levels, which, to a certain extent they are. I'm an advocate for women supporting women because I've been a product of women supporting women. And also with clients, the people that I have to deal with on a daily basis in terms of brand managers are also women. And so they're very, very supportive. And I hear stories about, them being, in quotes, bitchy. But however, I have a totally different experience. And they are, they have that motherly role, that nurturing role to understand that, these things, we go through these things, even if sometimes we even have, as women, we tend to undercharge ourselves, like our services. Because you don't want to,
to look like
come up
too much.
And sometimes people take advantage of that you're a woman. And so they will give you less than what they give, the male counterparts, right? But then having to work with men, first of all, Image Nation is female-led. We're three founders are women. And so in our daily lives and the clients that we get to work with, women. And so for me, the theme this term, breaking the bias, was mainly about, how do we use that to also uplift other women, So it doesn't, since, we're giving that hand and we've been shown good, let's say clientele services or good, managerial services, how can we also bring women and break that bias in Cameroon that, women don't support, cannot work together, cannot support women. Sometimes you even hear it, when you get to an office, it's prevalent in Cameroon.
Yes, it is.
The people who are being
woman, the worst enemy in a woman.
Exactly. You get that a lot in offices.
The man picking not job code.
You get that a lot in offices. And so I'm all about, how does that mentality change? Because I've been a product of women supporting women. In every step of the way, it's been a woman there. Even the first client, we were not qualified. There's a woman who said, I'm going to trust you.
I would think that both of you would actually have that perspective a lot. You guys grew up with a lot of women, went to school with a lot of women.
A lot of
Secrets. So these are three secrets. And a sober and an honorary
So it's been very, for me, the theme was, how to, break that bias and, the whole way people think about, Cameroon women incorporating the corporate scene and how to, uplift. Even sitting right here, this too, actually, we carry out a lot of, events. But I'd call her Sister Eva because, the second thing is still in my head. We're here, 110 support, whatever it is that I need. Whenever I call, she's there to answer. And so it's a product of women. Even Auntie Joan, sorry, you understand why? Auntie Joan, whenever we call on her, she's there. And so when you look at that, you're like, oh, this is not what I used to hear or know when I was little. And, they're actually these women who are breaking the bias and saying, no, we support our own, we can uplift each other. And so for me, that was the angle in which I took the Break the Bias theme this year, breaking that whole notion of women can work with enemies. Yes.
But I've had a very, I'll give you an example. I went to CRTV once to see someone, a boss, and believe me, the woman that was the secretary or PA, as they call it now, personal assistant, she was mean as hell. It got to a point where I had to just tell her that, I'm going to walk out of your office, but before I do that, let me just give you a piece of my mind.
Exactly.
I think that's part of the awareness that, all too readily you also find women who might be uneducated about what it means to stand up for other women or just being decent to other women. And so part of breaking the bias is for women to also be told that a woman is not always your rival. It's not always your rival. She's not coming there to take your job. She's not coming there to take your man. She's not coming there to steal your position. So that I think that's part of it. Yes,
that's true.
And it requires a lot of awareness.
There was this question that was roaming throughout, social media on Women's Day. What is Women's Day for you? Every year we celebrate Women's Day with different themes, by the United Nations. But when it comes to individuals like yourself, power, strength, young, and dealing with a lot of men, what is Women's Day for you?
still to understand the whole Women's Day, because if you look at the woman, in all her glory and splendor, Women's Day should be every day, right? And it's because we go through a lot of things as a woman. So very, very simple notion, like our emotions are heightened every single month. Like you start the month, you start PMSing, waiting for, the time of the month to come, and then it's that period of the month where everything just goes sad, and then you have the end of the month, you have to be stressing and all of that. For me, Women's Day, it's not a particular day that I say, oh, let me celebrate. I tend to do it every single day because of the struggles that we go through every single day, and the things that personally, like you look at your sister, you see everything that she has to juggle. She's a medical doctor, she has kids, she has to come back and cook, she has to take the kids from school, take care of her husband, take care of her home, still excel in her job. And you're just like, wow, I thank God for the beings that we are, to be able to have that resilience and do things every day. So Women's Day, to me, to be very honest, I shy away from saying Happy Women's Day. For me, it's more of action every single day, round the year, round the clock, just celebrating women and who they are. Because to be very honest, being a woman is a struggle in itself.
Tell me about it. It's a full-time job.
Thank you. Full-time job. And
We are women for a living.
we are women for a living. So for me, it's just, I don't want to say Women's Day to me, but then I just feel it's a day probably that they just, uplift and say, okay, let's lever the woman jusqu'au ciel. On doit te soulever. So basically, it's recognizable to say, hey, we do a lot. We do so much for society. And so let's celebrate you, for that day. But then every single day, we should be celebrated. And celebrate ourselves. It starts with ourselves, personally, individually. We need to celebrate ourselves every single day.
Bam. Eva, do you have any other thing to?
Growing up, Women's Day was like we know today. Where on Sulevi Kaba, and then at some point I felt like it was kind of like an inclusion thing.
Yes.
Like, we do everything, men. Maybe the women should have one thing where they should have some fun, Yes, let's not act like, okay, we're focused about women, let's also celebrate them. But then going up again from that part where now I have to pay my own bills, I have to go to work. At the same time, I have to have great skin, I have to be able to wear slits. At the same time, I have to be able to go to work every day and argue with this man, that man. I have to fight for this one, that. I'm like, you know what? I think I need a day. Maybe I just need a day where I don't go to work, when nobody's calling me. It's all about me. Even if, like, the same thing with her is like, sometimes you try to understand, like, what is the idea behind Women's Day. But then for me, at some point when I started really being an adult, I was like, you know what? I understood my mom. Or I kind of understood the other women who were like, let me go to this bar and just drink to stupor, right? I just need to relax. Yes. What is this? Because tomorrow I'll wake up at 5 o'clock
I have to start back
all over again. So at some point I was like, you know what? Maybe I just need this day. Even if I'm not doing anything crazy.
Yes.
Let it just be my day. Let me stay home and sleep all day, no problem.
Yeah.
Let me go maybe get a full spa day for myself. Oh, not have spa takes time. You go, you have to pick and choose. Okay, no, this week I'll do only nails. Next week I'll do only facial. But that day you could probably just do everything and just relax. So at some point for me, it was just, maybe it's just a day where everything is off. I just have time for myself. Maybe write in your journal, maybe just, whatever the case may be. Yeah, so that's kind of my take on it.
From a man's perspective now, let's hear.
Well, for me,
Why were we giving just the day?
for me as a he for she, right? My perspective is always that Women's Day is a form of activism to remind people of some of the inequalities, especially that you have in society. And so for me, the goal is that we will not celebrate Women's Day anymore, where every day will just be a day where you're celebrating everybody. Yeah, so because that's the goal of activism, right? Exactly. So that we don't have to fight again. So when you talk about equal pay, we should have that pay. We don't have to be reminded again with a day that this is what women are facing, or that if you're talking about disproportionate domestic abuse in society, and we should not have to celebrate that day again. So to me, it's that bias.
It should be broken.
Should be broken. We should stop having these things. We should
break the
live in a
bias.
society where it becomes ideal that we don't have to celebrate Women's Day because every day women are celebrated. So to
But
me,
it's really funny enough whenever there's 8th of March, the guys who come on social media, sorry, when do they celebrate Men's Day? I'll have to remind them that somewhere in November, I think it's 14 or 18, I can't remember
it's
that
there,
one.
but the fact is,
Why is it not loud?
I think that these days are put there too. It's like albinism day. It's like all of this. These days are put there to throw a light, to shed a light on something, the challenges or some difficulty and that. And so it's not to say that men don't have difficulties. Of course, men have difficulties. But it's saying, okay, when it comes to equal pay for same job, women are disproportionately affected. You just talked about the fact that even in terms, sometimes it's not that men are the ones causing it. It's just automatic. Sometimes it's the societal psyche has just been programmed to believe that. In fact, I was doing a study on widowhood practice, and I realized those who enforce the widowhood practice are the women. The older women who have grown in that culture. And they have internalized that culture. It has become part of them. So the older women have to go through that because these women, they've culturalized the thing and they're like, okay, this is it. Exactly. So it's just intergenerational.
You're a bully,
so
you have to be bullied. No work for you. But I mean, it's great all the time. I'm looking at the both of you. Recently, we have to just make this one a very big deal. Tony Elumelu, the owner, in fact, CEO, founder, whatever, of UBA Bank, just turned you into one of the most popular women in Cameroon, making you one of his mentees from Africa. I mean, you were selected among the young, strong women in the entire continent.
Yes.
She has to be very specific. 5,000.
5,000.
First of all, congratulations.
He chose 64.
No.
64, yeah.
Congratulations on that. That's really amazing. We need to give her a round of applause. Guys, join us on this one. This is really nice. Awesome.
It was really nice.
So how did you feel? Because I mean, I just saw your status, your Twitter had just changed. I'm just like,
this is from
Tony.
From Tony Elumelu's mentee, it's important that I say this because it's not easy. But then, it coming to life was it started off as a joke, right? I just post random stuff on my Instagram. And so I was scrolling. I never even go through my feed, right? I always end at the stories because stories to me are more interesting. And so there's this one time I'm going through my feed and I say, hey, I'm celebrating International Women's Day and I want you to tag, a woman who you think is, doing exceedingly well and who deserves to, be my mentee. And so I repost and like, please tag me. And the next minute, every single person on my Instagram is tagging me. I'm like, hey, what's happening? And I go back to check. I'm like, oh, people are actually really tagging me. My sister then comes to like, Santana, wow. I'm like, what have I done? Like, why would I go to Tony Elumelu's thing and everybody is tagging you and you cannot even come and tell her, say, my sister, it's now as you're seeing it like this. And so, speaking about that, the support, the community, the online community came out for me like in a way that I would never have imagined. Never. Like I did not even think that much people were going to come out to as much as even tag me or, just ensure every single day. Even my mom is the person who made me go emotional because the message she dropped, like she saw it, she was like, what do I need to do? Tell me. And she was like, okay, don't worry, I know what to write. And she wrote this sweet message. When she wrote it, I was like, okay, then I know that I'm going to get it because, this is, coming from, my precious mom, and she dropped that message. I was like, yeah, I know that God is telling me something like I'm going to get.
My mom is very tech savvy. She has Instagram. I'm on Instagram now. But she can't even move.
No, it's for
Woman in tech.
Woman in tech. Man, no.
She knows her way around social media. Woman in tech. So she did that, and just the support that I got, and for me to see on that day when I got it, because I watched your last episode speaking about mental health. I was going through a lot in my head, and I was questioning myself, like, I put in all of this energy, and where is this thing taking me to? I was sort of confused. So I took a decision that day, like I was going to upskill, do something different, go out of my field and move into tech. I was like, okay, let me do something different. And at 8 o'clock, I'll never forget, 8 p.m., I just saw Tony Lumelu tagging me, saying congratulations. And I just went mad. I went mad. Everyone was like, why are you shouting? Why are you shouting? Hey, it's 8 o'clock, your grandmother is sleeping. Why are you shouting? And I was like, Tony Lumelu. Then they went to remove champagne. I was like, yes.
But I should add that I think that it did not just happen because you were lucky. It's years of work. And so people could rally behind because we all recognize the work that you've put in what you've been doing. So it's well deserved. Yes, it's well deserved. Yes. So when you go to salute.
I don't really talk with T, but therefore talk again. Like, one-on-one. Yeah. When we don't settle, because right now we have like a whole group that we talk amongst ourselves. So not only the two mentees internationally, but then, also the Cameroon. So we're trying to like really, do something with the whole, it's a great PR opportunity. I wouldn't even lie, because the number of people, things that are coming, requests, I want you to do this. Even people who had slept on us, they're coming back alive. Please keep on coming back alive.
And I've been neglecting you.
The name
Please,
itself.
one thing I'll say, today's price is not yesterday's price.
Today's price is not yesterday's price. So everything has changed. Let's not change. 10 over 10.
The money has gone up.
It has gone up.
We don't want to ask you why.
That same day we change our price.
There you go.
This person
That's what everybody knows.
We changed our price rates, and it's good because also, the Cameroon industry, PR industry, light is being shone on the Cameroon PR industry. And so it's more of like a responsibility now to really concentrate more and build it to a point where, it's at par with the global standards, because that's the goal. And I think right now it's just about, really gathering our thoughts, not, acting based off on emotions and all, but then strategically planning so that we can really build a robust PR industry in Cameroon. It's needed. It's lacking. And so it's needed. Yeah. So, but so far so good.
But Eva, you are into events, hosting, you have a dope music, you are an A&R manager for a top male artist in Cameroon, Magasco. I mean, all of that's a lot. Just thinking about it now, like, how do you do this? And then you have Sony Music again. MTN Zik, we saw that. Congratulations on that. It's a lot. It's not audio money. This is real money.
Real money.
Tell me, how do you juggle all of these things and the one Radio Save My Life? You're part of that as well. Look, Cartel. Just why did you even come up with that kind of show that highlights the strength of women in their careers?
So from Radio Save My Life. Okay, so women in media, like we said earlier, it's complicated. And then media again, when a woman is on TV, most people don't really think about what she's saying. They're like, oh, she's Elebel.
Or is she?
Or is she single?
Yes.
I like this girl. Even if she's not single, I want her.
Or is she beautiful?
Or is she? Is she beautiful? Should she be on TV? Does she have the right size? All of that. So the women are more like really, I wouldn't say objectified per se, but it kind of is objectifying.
They are objectifying.
And it's like, okay, I'll put you on TV because you're cute.
It's a marketing strategy.
And you're going to, and you're going to learn the craft and everything on TV. Because you're cute. People will look at you because you're cute. But then they forget that after, when you leave that camera or when you leave that set, there's a lot happening around it. Are you getting, like you said, equal pay? Are you getting paid the same like your TV anchor, your colleague? Are you this? Are you that? Also growing in the industry. Are the media women getting more posts of responsibility? Are they being taken seriously? Are they being, it's all of that very important. So Radio Save My Life, like you said, it's actually a concept that was created by Ivan Ongo, who is a man, of course. But then we told him, we said, look, so Emeka Tehi Mukuri works for Canal 2. And I were like, okay, Radio Save My Life is a great concept. But then we want to highlight women in media for Radio Save My Life every month of March. Why? Because one, the women in media don't have a platform where they can express themselves or a platform where they can share, a platform where they can look for solutions, where the younger generation or who are coming into media can say, okay, you know what, big sis, this is the issue I'm having. How did you solve this problem? Last year, we had a young lady who spoke about being sexually harassed at the job. We had to speak about that. Older sisters who also have gone through that had to tell her, look, I dealt with it this way, this person dealt with it this way, this person dealt with it this way. Like, oh, but if I go to the police station, they would say this, they would say that. So it's just those little but big issues that women in media face. And then the platform was just, we're not here to judge anybody. We're not here to tell you that we know all of the answers. Exactly. We don't know all the answers. We're here to find solutions. We're here to listen to your issues. Because even the issues of just little sis in media and big sis in media, there's a problem there. Because it's like, oh no, when I speak to the older sister, she talks to me, she's acting like I'm this, then the older sister will be like, but you're rude. You think you know everything. Our advice when you wouldn't follow. But then it's just those little things. Again, comes down to breaking the bias of being sure that, or making people understand that women can work together, can help each other, can support each other without thinking, okay, because I'm older in the media, and Santa is coming up. She's trying to challenge me. Oh, she may take my job. I should be this. No, she should this. So it's just again, it did follow the theme of breaking the bias. Even though it's kind of, again, like I said, we're trying to do it all the time. Where it's like, let's always break that bias no matter what. So yeah.
It's I've attended, I think, twice, two of them, and really, really good. I get to meet people that I never thought I would meet, first of all. And then I listen to people's real stories.
I know you know how it is in Douala. Because that platform is not only for women, also. It's also for the Anglophone and the Francophone women to understand that we are both the same and we all go through the same issues.
A common problem.
A common problem. Unfortunately, because we're in Douala, it's very difficult to really find Anglophone media personalities who will come on stage. But I'm just grateful that the women we reached out to were there. Like Mihek Ki, who is the president of the Cameroon English-speaking journalists. So, and then of course you, Vicky, and Carol, for example, who is bilingual, who was able to express herself in English and French. The whole thing is sometimes the Anglophone women in media are also kind of like neglected or kind of minimized in some way. I've had so many gigs where I've had to host and they'll tell me, il faut aussi parler en français, tu ne peux pas seulement parler l'anglais. And I would be frustrated to the point where I'll actually lash out and be like, mais pourquoi est-ce que lui ne parle pas aussi un peu en anglais? Right? And I've had that issue and they actually cut off my time. I said, okay, it's fine. They had cut off my time on the show, on the TV show, because I made that comment and it became a problem and it was like, oh, let us replace her. On va la remplacer. And then the other guy who actually hired me was like, no, we're not going to replace her because she's actually right. Yes, it is frustrating for us maybe, but she is right. We're telling her to speak 50-50 English and French. But we're not asking the Francophone person to speak 50-50 English and French. We're asking him to speak French or asking her to speak French. And we're asking her to speak English and French. Mandatory. You have to understand. It is frustrating. So it's also for that platform is also for the Francophone women in media to understand that as Anglophones, we have double challenges. We have another extra challenge that they don't have.
Understanding and
speaking. I didn't learn how. I'm Anglophone. I grew up in an English home. I was let's just say I grew up in a French town. Thus me being able to speak French or me being able to be bilingual. But you cannot force me to do a job in a language that I did not study that job in. I studied in English, but you're asking me to come and speak French. And then when I make a mistake, you'll be the first to tell me I didn't do a good job, so I'm going to lose a job. I'll probably do it, and people online will be me. Pourquoi est-ce qu'elle a dit le là quand elle devait dire and I get now backlash online. What does that do? That affects now my it gets now into my insecurities. I'm like, okay, now I'm insecure about the fact that I have to speak English or speak French, blah blah blah. So all of that. So the space is actually.
It's big enough. It's big for everybody to learn. What's the in this case? Women always. There's this thing that you always say on Freaky Table where you say that social media feminists, when they come out and lash on situations, and then in real life they're like, hey, we don't care. It's like, can you highlight on that a little bit now that we're talking?
The work you guys do, it's on ground. You know, it might get to social media, but this is real action that is taken to break the bias, to bring forth solutions to the issues that people complain every day. I've been very frustrated by what I call social media feminists, because they pick and choose what causes that they want to jump on when they are affected, or when somebody they like is affected. So, and I said this when Patience had her debacle with the late Fish, God rest his soul, that the people whom I know would not stand, in my head, they would not stand for harassment, who were okay with it. You know, so it's the same thing that what you're talking about. You know, there are people who would not stand for discrimination in the workplace, but then if something happens to Eva in that workplace, they're like, oh no, but she was just grabbed. What is the big deal, you know? So to me, it's really about these actions that you take that are meaningful, that bring about change. So when you have these discussions, the discussions you have, what I only ask is men should be included. Because the real change will not take place if men too are not educated on the things that create bias. Because there might be a culture of entitlement that might be there, that you just grow up saying, okay, I might be in a workplace and I don't know that this is what you as a woman have to go through. That gender is a factor that affects how your work would run. I might not understand that. When I understand that, then I'm able to join my voice to you and say, let's break this bias. So if I understand that, oh, Eva as a woman has particular different difficulties because when she gets into a room, people want to first of all know how she is dressed rather than what she would say. Then I know how to make sure that she's comfortable. How, you know, all of that. I know how not to undress her when she stands there.
Yes, exactly. No, that's wonderful.
I'm buying into what Elongated. I think it's also prevalent, especially when we're like dealing with, you know, having to, you know, source for businesses. With men, it's easy. Over a beer, over like watching a football match, and they strike deals there and there.
Yes.
You know, it's very easy in that sense. And so you see that they always get you, like you compare what you do and you compare another person and like, why is this person getting so much?
Yeah, like I imagine you trying to strike a deal in a nightclub. Like you go there and you're like,
Exactly, you know. So
You came for something else.
and when you go for a meeting, you know, when you go for a meeting and you're meeting with, you know, it's not only you at that point, but then you're meeting with somebody. You have to even mentally prepare yourself. Like, and sometimes when you're spiritual, you even pray like, Papa God, I beg, let this person not, try to cut corners with me. Let this person be about business and business only.
I was watching Joan host Canal Door, and I was seeing comments. Oh, she looks flawless in her dress. I was like, are you not listening to what she's saying? Like, that's the issue. You get it.
I always say this is. That's the problem that we have.
Yes.
Why? Because anybody, I know people who have, they say, non, mais pourquoi on prend Eva qui parle seulement l'anglais? Prenons Cassandra. Elle est bilingue. And you're like, okay, no problem. And then Cassandra goes and does, you're like, hey, Cassandra, this is your English show. Why? Because Francophones don't even know the difference between good English and bad English.
Yes.
Franc-anglais all the way.
And the moment you start speaking English now, you who is Cassandra, who is very bilingual, me who's Agua, I'm telling her,
Okay.
How the English don't turn against you?
So because say you talk, it makes some way, so you say it pass.
Yeah. I have the pleasure. I have the pleasure.
What was your wrong? Let's go. Let's go. And you're like,
The one is here touristic. Oh my God, the VIP bus services. They have to try. Dear ladies and gentlemen, please.
So we just have to. So what exactly? So it's just a problem.
My former job in Nigeria, my boss was very, likes women, especially in staff. So when I got there, I was very tiny. Not now that I look like I was very, petite. and stuff. He liked girls with like big bust, bum bum and stuff. So I did not just fit into that whole thing.
Yes.
So what he did was he just took me like his daughter.
This is my child.
I started training me. That guy actually trained me as I was his biological child. I was like, praise the Lord.
Thank God for no bum.
Thank God for no bum and no boobs. Because I saw my colleagues and what they went through. It was, I mean, I felt so bad for them. But me, I was just like,
I wouldn't have rested.
it's a split for him.
Because I've actually gone to a
You'd have changed it like his wife.
you know, like this is my second wife. I'd actually gone to this huge corporation to get sponsorship, and that was the first time ever.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really sure that this was real. Because sometimes when you hear it, you're just like, when you don't live it,
Yes.
you don't understand it.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you're like, maybe she just giving an excuse to why X, Y, Z.
Just exaggerating.
Exactly. And I go there and I ask for sponsorship, and the first thing the guy tells me is, you know, I should come to your place so you can make me lunch. So I said, you don't have to come to my place. I can make the lunch and bring to your office. No problem. Say no. You have to, you know, I should come to your place. By the way, did you drive here? I said, yes, I did. No, leave your car. My driver will take your car back to your house. Let's go and have dinner. I said, hey, this man, you're my father's age. So no, thank you.
So there's so much women go through across the world at their workplaces, in their relationships, marriages, friendships, you know, just everywhere. You know, we go through a lot. And I think that some men understand that. Some men are still to understand that. Perhaps it's our job to help them raise awareness on certain things for them to understand it better. And some of them are just really being stupid. So you guys need to learn. And some women too take advantage of some situation and act really weird. So at the end of the day, the message for women, the last word from you guys, message for women, what would it be? Santa, let's start with you.
Be the woman who creates change.
Bang, bang. Tony Lumelu.
It's so strong. I was like,
Can we just go with that?
She said what she said. What she said. Be the woman that comes. That what? That creates change. Yeah. So I think at the end of the day, you just have to be you. Don't try to be somebody else. Don't try to do stupid competition. Yeah. So just no to rivalry. Exactly. There's positive competition that can help growth. So thank you guys so much. I mean, this has been really, really good. And please, they are very active on Twitter, especially this one.
Please, we are finally on Freaky Table. Please, this is a dream come true.
Remember what they do. This is Image Nation PR. I call them PR gods in Cameroon. So if you need their service, you know where to find her. Santa Bacha, her name has not changed. It's the same Twitter, Facebook, everywhere. Eva Dumbe, somewhere it's like Sumbile and then another stuff.
Eva Sobila, at Eva Sobila, everywhere on Twitter and on Instagram.
So you can find Santa, you can find Eva. And whenever you get to Magasco, know that you're going to get to her somehow. So it is great to have both of you here to join Elonge and myself to have this great conversation on way forward for women. Yes. So don't be lazy like Kim Kardashian said. But please, get your ass up and work.
We all know she was lying down.
Bro, she on her back. On her back.
No, she put in the work.
Thank you so much. And please, guys, what do you think about the theme for this year's Women's Day? And let us know what you think about this episode in our comment section below. And also, be sure to hit the subscribe button if you find what we do very interesting. And tell a friend to subscribe to Decoded TV Show. Follow us on all social media platforms. It's at Freaky Table. Myself, Elonge, Eva, and Santa. It's a goodbye. Stay safe.
Freaky Table is brought to you by Nikki Hit Beauty Academy. Opposite Vision Comfort. Sable Bonamusadi Douala.
Thanks for watching the dopest TV show right now.
And don't forget to subscribe so that you can see our beautiful faces. Scratch that, our handsome faces. No, my handsome face. I'm handsome.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Alright guys, to never miss a thing, follow us on all social media platforms at Freaky Table. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. So yeah, stay tuned.